I'll just give a brief introduction about Glow and Foito. So, Mahasweta, you can raise your hand so that everybody knows. Everybody's been getting beautiful emails from your side. So everybody, that's Mahasweta. She's been sending out all the wonderful emails and all the assessment skill set. She's been reminding about the webinar. So Mahasweta and I are part of Glow.community. We are a peer-to-peer learning platform for young women, where we speak about inspiring stories, where we speak about the education gaps that have been created, and we are trying to bridge that gap. So all in all, we are giving you a very safe space to learn from your peers. So now what we realized was, as a child, whenever somebody would ask us what you want to be, at least mine ranged from anywhere to being a doctor, which was a common favorite of kids my age. And then it would become an engineer, because I saw a lot of my friends taking up engineering, and hence I took the science stream. But then at the end of my 12th standard, I was like, I cannot do science. What am I doing studying science for? I cannot do this for the rest of my life. That's when I moved to law. Then when I studied law is when I realized, okay, law is not what's my real calling. That's when I started entrepreneurship. So all in all, I have jumped from one stone to the other, because I'd say there was nobody like Foito guiding me here. Everything happened because I thought that was good, because my peers were doing it that time. So I think this is a real thing that happens to all of us, that because of the immense competition and because of the peers that we see, the peers who are doing, and we see them, we get stuck in a maze where we don't know about ourselves. We don't know what our skills are. We don't know what we are good at. We are just doing because it is trending at that time. We do digital marketing because it is trending now. But let's say after 10 years, you realize that was not what you wanted to do. So whatever we do for our future job opportunities also doesn't come in from the skills that we possess. It mainly comes from what will get me that money. What will get me enough money to buy myself a new house? What would get me enough money to buy myself a new car, to have a good lifestyle? But at the end of it, we forget that we should always enjoy what we are doing. And that does not happen that easily. So this is where Foito comes to your rescue. So Foito was incorporated in 2018 November. They have covered a journey of more than 2 years now, and have already completed more than 30 training projects and over 80 skill assessments. They have individual trainers across India, and they are able to deliver effectively to all their clients and help them understand what they're really good at. Now, I want to introduce Swagata and Shabad. So Swagata, if you can say hi to the people attending. So Swagata,
hi.
So Swagata is the woman of the hour. So she is a BCom honors graduate from Delhi University, and she's now pursuing MBA at IIM Lucknow. Something that really struck me about Swagata was that she started out as an intern at Foito. And now, because of her credibility and the way she has shaped Foito, she is now one of the directors at Foito. So I think that deserves a huge shout out for you, Swagata, because people don't know their own, what they can do in their lives. So moving from an intern to a director in such a short journey, I think that's really commendable. So thank you for doing this, Swagata and Shabar. Let me now introduce Shabar, who is one of the co-founders. So Shabar comes from the education background, and his passion for teaching and strategic analysis is what shaped Foito up. So Foito is going to be at least, I'm going to be using that word at least 300 times in today's webinar before I hand over the dais to Swagata and Shabar. But anybody who wants to know more about Foito, please visit their website. We have linked in almost all our emails. We have spoken about Foito and what they've been doing, about Swagata and about Shabar. So if you have any more doubts, and the Foito team would also get in touch with you once you've done your skill assessment test. Again, so in the previous emails also, Mahasweta has linked in a skill assessment test. I was just telling it, I'll tell it again. Do take out about 30 minutes of your time and fill that form, so that the Foito team can assess you better. Is only post that is when they will be able to assess you and give you a call and help you understand what you should be, or what you could be doing, and how you should be doing. So over to you, the Foito team.
All right. Thank you so much for the introduction, Pooja. That was really wonderful. And I wish I could see the smiling faces, but I can't see that. So I'm just assuming that there are some smiling, beautiful faces behind the camera. I am Swagata, and as Pooja said, that I did my BCom honors from Delhi University, and currently I'm pursuing MBA from IIM Lucknow. And I have been a part of Foito since March 2019, when I joined as an intern. And that's how my journey started. So I'll be sharing my screen, and we'll be doing the entire webinar through a presentation so that it gets a little interesting also. Just let me know if you're able to see my screen, Pooja.
Sure. I am able to. If everybody else is there a thumbs up thing? Can you do that on Zoom?
Is there?
Yes, there is a thumbs up. So if everybody can give a thumbs up if you're able to see the screen.
Can you see the slide?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, okay. I've got some raised hands. Yes, so people can see. All right. So basically the topic for the webinar is the career options for women in 2020 and beyond. This is something we added because we cannot restrict our vision to just 2020 because where everything's unpredictable and we need to plan accordingly. Okay, so I think most of the introduction has been covered by Pooja, but I'll just give you some brief idea of what we do as Foito. Mr. Shabbar Syed, who's sitting over here, is the founder, along with Mr. Manohar Reddy. We'll get the next slide with the photographs of all the founders. So it's basically an on-demand industry training platform. So when I say on-demand, it basically means you can go to the website and you can book a training of your choice. Unlike some other options you have where you need to go for a course, book a course, and that's how you need to go for it. So when I say on-demand, you get a customization option. If you are into a particular skill, say you're a data scientist and you want to know how you're going to apply data science into finance, that's how we customize the courses and make them available to you. It's called a cross knowledge exchange platform. That's because we allow the trainers and the attendees to directly interact with each other. And we believe that knowledge has got no boundaries. So if I learn from you, in exchange, you will also learn from me, is what we believe in. And that's how we've been able to evolve till now. If you see this balanced graph or diagram, you'll understand that we provide training based on the idea of evaluating your skill set, which is the most important thing. And that is what we will be focusing during this entire webinar. That why is evaluating your skill set and accordingly choosing your career is important, so that you are never drained of your work. That you're never working in your organization and feeling, when will I go home and perhaps binge watch Netflix? This should not be the feeling. In fact, it should be a respite for you when you're working, and it should give you the boost. That's the whole idea. And of course, based on whatever evaluation we come up with, we provide you the training. This is the slide of the founders. That's Mr. Shabbar. He's here. Mr. Manohar is not here with us right now. That's me. And some of our strategic partners, they are the master franchisee partners from Haryana, Ms. Gloria Jaggi. She's around 25 years of experience in compliance. And that's Mr. Jitendra Malik, who's a technical analyst of the stock market. All right, so this is from where I start talking and boring you about my journey at Foito. So like I said, I joined as an intern, and I got the internship. I shall say it was accidental, because I was randomly applying to a lot of internship while I was doing the last year of my graduation. And I was trying to pick up some activities where I can perhaps apply my knowledge, whatever I had learned. And that's how my journey began. So I got contacted by Mr. Shabbar, and he told me that this is your role, which was primarily into HR domain at that time. And then while working, my work expanded into certain areas. Since I was a commerce student, I was interested in finance. And I decided to implement my ideas of finance into the company by introducing some new courses of finance. And that's how the project began. And I realized that there is so much scope. Plus, it was a startup, and it's a startup, you have a lot of options. There is no restriction. You can go to any extent, you can give in any ideas, and that is where I feel your profile becomes dynamic. That's how my journey began. And I have actually made it into 5 steps, the entire journey. This is also something which I can relate to the idea of how you can improve your profile during these times, which is very important. The first thing is that take up projects and gain practical exposure. We all might be theoretically sound, but you need to understand the market from the recruiter's point of view. If you see yourself as a recruiter, then you will more likely go for a person who is able to implement his ideas on a practical front. The practical business is the practical business market is way different from what we see in the books and the theory. And therefore, it is very important that you take up projects to gain that exposure. Any project. If you are working also, you can always take up more freelance projects and increase your, increase the breadth of your profile. Don't stick to one area, because that will make your compatibility with other areas very limited. So it's very important that you take up any projects, and that's what I did. So I'm not a person who's good at sales and marketing, but still I was fine taking up projects into sales and marketing. Sometimes even I bugged the founders to an extent that, give me some work is what I used to do. I'm pretty sure Shopper will agree. He's smiling also. So that's how the thing works. You need to take up and grab projects. You don't need to wait for opportunities to come knock at your door. You need to be open to any kind of opportunity you get. That's the first thing, which take projects, gain practical exposure. Then I see, as I said, that be ready to, go beyond your floating. Don't say that this is something I can't do. This is something if you don't try, you can never know if you're interested in it or you're not. When you were born, you don't know you're going to be a singer or a dancer or a businessman. You learn by experiences. So it's important to experience everything from every profile. If you're getting an opportunity, just take that up, because it's going to make a difference. It's going to be there not just as a bullet point in your resume being highlighted, but it's going to be a learning experience for you. You learn by working, you learn by knowing others. Yeah, then I said managing time. This was specifically because since this is related to a women community, and we all agree that women have to take care of a lot of things. If I talk about managing time in my particular profile, if that time I was preparing for CAT, because I also had to appear for CAT by November 2019, as MBA was my long-term goal. So I had to manage time between this work and CAT preparations. But on a broader perspective, if I'm talking about women, there are a lot of things which we are into. In fact, it's important to celebrate being women. I feel that we have been born with the capability to handle multiple things at the same time. And it's a strength we have. So it is something which needs to be explored. At this moment, you might be working from home, you have got family, you have got other obligations, and still you're finding time for yourself, for your career enhancement, and that is what defines you as a woman. I'm sure there are many men also here in the audiences. I'm not excluding you people. You are very much included in this. So yes, of course, managing time it's an art, and everybody has to actually, become pro at this thing. How to manage time, how to make your priorities and set your priorities, know what is more important to you at the moment, and accordingly work. And then I also mentioned about enjoying the task at hand, which is by far the most important thing. If you do not enjoy what you're doing, then the whole purpose is ruined. We need to see everything from a longer perspective. Do not see that if I do a particular project, I will add it to my resume and that's all. No, it's not that small. Everything's going to have a long-term impact in your life. And if you look at the long-term impact is when you understand that it's important you identify how everything's going to impact your interest. You need to identify what makes you happy. Your work should make you happy. If your work is not making you happy, even if you go back home with your family, you won't be able to devote time to them and enjoy time with them. And so it's important that you understand that the task you're doing, any kind of task you're doing, you're enjoying it to the T. And when I say enjoying it, it automatically means you're going beyond all limitations and taking up every challenge with a smile on your face and ready to accept the repercussions as well. Not everything, every project you do is successful. But when you're enjoying the task, you will know that be it successful or be it a failure, you're ready to take it up. And last is fifth, which is a question mark. So yesterday evening, me and Chabbar sir were discussing this, and I had written just 4 steps and ended it. That's when he gave me the idea that why don't you write the 5th step, which is perhaps the most important thing, which is celebrating. And I was like, yes, that's true. Because achievements need to be celebrated. If you do not celebrate, you will never find the kick to perhaps start the next project. If you're just, thinking of what will happen next, and you're pondering about and nervous about everything, you will forget the very essence of life, which is seeking happiness. So it's very important that you celebrate everything you do. So I actually celebrate this journey with Poito from an intern to a director, where my responsibilities have increased, where my liabilities, I won't say have increased, but anyways. But yes, that's like a very big journey for me. And it's important that you all, celebrate whatever achievements you have. You get a project, you are successful in that project or not successful in that project, even during this time, if you're able to bag a project, it is worth celebration. So this is about my journey. And now we come to the next point of why is assessing your skill important. You see two circles over here. One says passion and one says strength. And it's very important to understand the difference between these two. Because when you're able to identify the difference between these two, only then you will be able to understand what your career trajectory should be. And that's how we do our skill evaluation module, by decoding your profile. When I say strength, it basically has a competitive angle to it. Okay, if I am good at writing, it can be my strength only if I am better than some XYZ people. I'm not saying that you actually need to go and compare your profile to others, but then you will always have some people who have validated you, who have appreciated you for your work, and you know that okay, this is something I am absolutely pro at. On the other hand, passion is any activity which gives you peace of mind and it just helps you escape from all the brutality of the real life. So something as generic as reading books or listening to music could be your passion. You're passionate about reading books, you're passionate about music, you might be just very passionate about football, which say I am. I am into football strategy analysis, but I have no clue of playing football. If I am left alone on the field, I will do absolutely nothing. So that can never be my strength. So you need to understand that there's a very big line actually distinguishing between your area of strength and your area of passion. But the career you choose has to be a combination of both. It has to be something which gives you the happiness of your passion and at the same time, which allows you to experiment with your skill set and your strengths. Um, I will ask Shabbar sir if he wants to add something to this. You have something to add to this?
Yeah, so you will have to also understand. By the way, I have to introduce myself on my own behalf as well. So I'll do that now. I'm basically a co-founder of Foito, and I don't want to bug you too much with my entire introduction. I'll tell you about the accident that happened to me in 2018 while I was down the line with 5 years of experience in corporate. I was wanting to understand where am I going to get that satisfaction out of my day in day out job, which I was not finding it still. So I just took you would not believe, I just took up a white paper, blank paper. I drew similar kind of two circles. I just start thinking about what are the two important things in anybody's profile or in anybody's life that will actually define what will make them satisfied in both terms, in financially as well as in emotionally, right? And I give more importance to emotional factor because a lot of things in the world happen by the nature, by the fate that you have, the belief that you have in God, and what are the superpowers that you have. Basically, people don't see that coming up live, but they all are well connected to this energy or the force, and we are going to talk about that. That is where I give more weightage to the strength than the passion in comparison of what these two things are very important. I've always preferred giving more understanding of or the strength to the characteristics of you finding your strengths better than passion. If you know your strength, it is very difficult to find that one. So you start working out on that first. Passion is pretty much easy to identify, and people generally have more than one passion. So I think this is what I would like to add here. Focus more on your strength. Passion will anyhow come and fall into your place. You can always have a flexibility to focus and drive your career right and left, up and down. I hope I'm audible, by the way.
Yeah. So yeah, carry forwarding what Shabbar has said, that strengths are more important than passion, and per se introspection is the only solution to this. You know yourself the best, but if you're not able to spend time on introspecting yourself, then nobody else can decode your profile. The formula which we use, which we call formula, is basically based on how you showcase your profile to us. Whatever inputs you will give in the form is what we will interpret, and then we will use the same to generate your report. So if you don't spend time in understanding yourself, your strength, and that starts from a very early, age. Since childhood that I have been good at something. I've been getting appreciations at something. I have been doing a lot of competitions, and that's how the process goes. It's a long, systematic process. It's not something that yesterday I did a post on LinkedIn and I got a couple of likes and I think that okay, I'm a very good writer. That's not how it works. It's a long journey. If you're good at oratory skills, it would have been like that. You're not scared of public speaking. You would have gone to a lot of public speaking places. You would have done your oratory skills in front of others, and you would have got appreciation. So that's how the entire thing works on your idea of yourself, your introspection. It's very important that you spend time with yourself. During these times or during these challenging times, again, I said that you need to think from the hirer perspective. If you're going to hire someone, would you like to hire someone who has absolutely no idea of their profile, or you would actually like to spend money and time on an individual who has a very clear idea of what he or she is good at? Right? So that's how the entire thing works. So you need to spend time, you need to introspect, think of what your strengths are. Passion is something which you can, spend 5 minutes and you know that, I read books, I feel happy. I listen to music, I feel happy. Anything which soothes you, calms you is your passion. Now, having told that this is how the skill evaluation module looks like, I'll just give you an idea. You'll find when you click on the link which Maheshwata has been mailing you, you will find a couple of questions over there. Some are intuitive questions. When I say intuitive, again, they are introspection-based questions. And others are generic questions which are quantitative, ability, etc. based, and you can always ignore that. Because like Sabbar sir said, we give more emphasis on emotional intelligence. How much you understand yourself, how much time you spend in analyzing your own self is what makes the entire difference. So this is how your skill evaluation report looks like. This is the profile, your name and picture appears here, and these are the top 3 career recommendations which we provide. Now, when we say top 3 career recommendations, these are entirely based on whatever strength, passion you have shown. Okay, we compare that and we provide you the top 3 careers which best suit and match with whatever passions and whatever strengths you have provided. So this is how the career recommendations work, but it's not a hardcore solid thing. It could be any other career in these domain or even apart from these domain. But then again, that will require you to spend time in analyzing yourself, which is the most important. Then we provide you a quadrant by dividing it into 4 skills of execution, interaction, innovation, and creativity. These are derived based on the inputs which we provide through the various intuitive questions which we ask during the skill evaluation test. All right. Accordingly, we divide the quadrant. Whichever skill is more dominant in your profile gets a major chunk, and obviously the rest goes without saying. Over here, we write down a summary explaining why these top 3 career recommendations have been provided by justifying the skill which we thought is going to compensate this idea of the career recommendation which we are providing, skill plus passion which you have portrayed in your profile. And it gives an idea to the person who's viewing the skill report that how these 3 careers have been derived from your profile and how you can justify these 3 careers. And the bars in the end show some of the important, any of the tools which you have used recently, again, to back up the idea of the skills which you have provided you're good at, right? I think that should be it. So from here, I would request Sabbar sir to please take this up.
Yes, sir. So here we have Karan as well, as he has asked this thing to be explained in a regional language in the chat box. So Karan, for you, I will be doing this in bed of the previous slide, the skill evaluation slide in Hindi as well, so that you will also get to understand what we do. Yeah, just go to the first slide very quickly, Swagata, please. Yeah, after this slide. Yeah, so now करण, हमने जो ये स्किल इवैल्यूएशन रिपोर्ट रखा है, इसमें 2 इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्टर्स है, आपका स्ट्रेंथ और आपका पैशन. पैशन बहुत आसानी से मालूम पड़ जाता है सबको. व्हेन यू आस्क समबडी के आपको क्या अच्छा लगता है, दे विल से कि मुझे गाना गाना लगता है, मुझे be able to find out whether music or books or similar kind of as passion. But कितना अच्छा डांस कर ले आप, कितना अच्छा गा लेते हो आप, कितने लोग आपकी गाने को सुन के आपके गाने को अप्रिशिएट करते हैं, कितने कॉम्पिटिशंस और एलिक्यूशंस आपने कर रखे हैं, कितनी कर रखी है स्केचेस, ये वाला पार्ट जो होता है, या कितना अच्छा आप फुटबॉल खेलते हो, दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग, ये वाला जो पार्ट होता है विच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट व्हाइल यू आर इवैल्यूएटिंग योर स्किल सेट. ये इंपॉर्टेंट आप अपने प्रोफाइल इवैल्यूएशन के तब ध्यान रखिए कि स्ट्रेंथ्स को ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस दें, पता करिए आपके स्ट्रेंथ्स क्या है, पहले उसके बाद मैच द फॉलोइंग काइंड ऑफ थिंग टू योर पैशन. Come back to you, Karan, in the language on one-to-one evaluation, as our test is absolutely free of cost. We will come to you with this, with respect to this as well in Hindi. So this particular part of explanation process will happen in detail as well. Yeah, Swagata, I'll take over to the next slide. Hello.
Can you see
Just move to the just move to the skill report. Move to the skill report slide.
Yeah. There's been some problem. Wait a second.
Yes, I think it's.
You're still seeing the same screen, right?
Screen is not being viewed now. Can you just cross check once?
You see it now?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
It's the same screen, right?
Yes.
Is it visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now. Yes. Take to the skill report once. So I'll tell about. Yeah. So these top three priorities for the career. We have used our emotional intelligence factor, though it's not measurable of what emotional intelligence is, but it's a very powerful methodology that we use to find out whatever suits you best based on your peer validation, based on your experience and background validation. And this is how we arrive to this. The interesting thing about this report is that we also have 4 other quadrants here, which are likely to play a very crucial role in your profile building or at your execution side on day-to-day basis, whether you do job, whether you do freelancing, whether you do even the entrepreneurship. Of those 4 skills or these quadrants that are important are execution skills, we have interaction, then we have, can you go back to the previous slide? I'm not able to see the screen. We have innovation, execution, interaction, and I guess there is a lag.
There's some lag, yeah.
Yeah. Do please cooperate with us for the technical glitch while we come back online.
You see the page?
Yeah, I can see this, but still not able to see the skill report wala slide. Yes, I can see now. So creativity, innovation, interaction, and execution. So there's a big difference between innovation and creativity that again decides about whether you are a sketch artist or you are a hardcore coding level engineer. That's what it defines basically, right? So, and then we also assess your technical skills to some strength and finally give you the kind of indication about how much you know about Salesforce. As you see in the example with this lady, the candidate of ours, Hina, we have been able to evaluate she's more better at SQL than Salesforce as software management or the software side of her, wisdom into the academics and as well as also the practical skills. We can move forward now. Now, as when you finish off understanding the top 3 career recommendations, you will anyhow by default automatically get it through from Foito, so you don't have to bug up too much into thinking and wondering what my top 3 career roles would be like. And this is why we are here, and we are very much welcoming you to come and take up our skill evaluation test, which is absolutely free in collaboration with Glow community, and we are very thankful for them also as well to make us a part of this particular webinar. That way we'll make sure we'll impact your professional career. And now once that is done, now if you see for the previous case of example, Swagata, just take to the skill report once more. Now look at this lady's skill evaluation report. She is somebody who's more probably to go in for business analyst, as in business analyst role. Now you go forward for this role, this slide. Yeah, so now anybody would have 3 of the options after they get to understand about their career recommendations. One of the easiest and the most available option to you, which will help you in enhancing your skills as well as get you some industry exposure, is freelancing. Because I have seen from my personal experience out of training 30 startups, a lot of people are afraid into entering into entrepreneurship or venturing into entrepreneurship. This has been a by default instinct that every human has for doing new things. We always have this problem that we always have is about afraid of getting into new things and doing or venturing into new things, and you wanted to be very sure and very ready to get to entrepreneurship. So we thought about telling you is that don't feel that you may need more time to do startup. Instead, if you are in that position that you still need to do a lot of research for your product, in some cases that is correct, because if you're going with a high tech like technology based product and all, where research means a lot to you, that is where probably you may not be able to jump into startup very easily. But then in most of the other cases, when I say 90% of the projects, you can jump into startup without anybody telling you whether you should do it or not. Only when you are clear with your strengths and passion, you will be able to find out what you will be doing next. But before you do that, if you want to practice the ground play field, then you get into freelancing first, as we have arranged it in such an order. Do freelancing, do startup as while you do your job. Make sure you don't, so this one important thing that we've been teaching people at FOITO is about ethical standards of any role that you play professionally, whether it be freelancing, whether it be startup or be a job. You need to be ethical with your stakeholder network, whether it be your employer, whether it be your colleagues, employees, or you are interacting with your company director. Be ethical as much as you can. Immediately it might not give you fruits or the returns, but then if you start noticing it in the long term, you will be contacted back multiple times for the fact that you build that level of credibility with your stakeholder network. And that's where I talk about the importance of understanding the credibility that brings to your profile by adding ethics to your work. So when we say this, the important aspect is that in freelancing now, you talk about it. Can you just go to the next slide? So there are few pros and cons for everything that we do, but then there's no such a way that a solid straight forward expert approach to say you can do freelancing, you can do job, you can do startup. These are all approaches or the channels that you can utilize as how the timing or the profile of yours shows the, let's say, adaptability to it, okay, of these channels. Now talking about freelancing, it sounds very fancy these days. People are remote working as well because of the current unfortunate situation. But then you have to understand there are a few things which are good about freelancing, which are easy to start. As I told you, you don't have to do a lot of incorporation work as you do for the company purpose, right? When you incorporate a business, rather you just do a freelancer proprietorship incorporation, very small documentation work that you do, or have a individual PayPal account if you're looking to go for international payments and all of that. You have then low manpower. That means you don't have to form a big team to start with. That's where you have an advantage of doing freelancing. You have quick income coming in because you are sizable income, but quick income is coming into you. And now there are a few cons that I would want you to think about why or where your freelancing journey might come to an end, is because you have to transform from stage 1 to stage 2. Difficult to scale. As a freelancer, you can probably up to 10 projects. Once you get 11th project, you have to get into negotiation with the another freelancer to share the work, and that's where it becomes startup or a venturing or a company formation kind of thing, because you are now handling teams, you are handling people across with you, and that's how the difference between the point, which is a con probably for freelancing, is that you might be taken for granted, because a lot of people who are in commercial aspects with respect to business, they go by trusting the registered companies or entities as to trust, rather than immediately trusting people. And you have to build that additional bridge of credibility. That is why a lot of people, after doing a lot of acting, you see celebrities doing a lot of acting, they have their own personal identity, they have their personal brand, but then apparently they go and start production houses, because they can't hire people if they don't have a legal matters in hand properly, or if they don't incorporate, they'll get into problem, because everything is liability. You yourself is a liability. That's where the company or the concept of business has come into existence, because you don't want to be liable for everything. You might be for most of the cases, but then you have a route to do this. The route is basically nothing but the incorporation of your company, and that's where FOITO plays a very crucial role in letting you know how we can talk about that later. Not at times value for money. Let us say the vendor has two of the quotations, one from the freelancer and one from the company. Although your quotation might look little cost effective to them, they are still reluctant to. They are trying to squeeze out more work from your profile than from the business, because business will have again set rules that you need to follow if you are tying up with them or you are giving a project to them. Whereas freelancer is very flexible, so you are not being valued for amount of work you are doing. You can go to the next slide. Now jobs, very much fancy, more easy to do. Everybody knows about it, and it's nothing wrong in actually looking out for a job. It's nothing wrong, and it's very nice that this is one of the channel that has been creating a financial stability to entire ecosystem. And now, but there are a few things that you need to know about how and where you have a limitation to employment plus the owning of your own business. Easy to start. Yes, job is very easy to start. You will definitely have financial stability. You wouldn't have any problem with finances most of the cases. In most of the cases, when I say 90% of the cases, until it's uncertain situation hits like this, probably you would not have much problems with job. Goal focus, yes, a lot of people, if they are able to evaluate their profiles really well and find out what our skill report is asking them to do, probably, and with their own gut and their own confidence, they'll be able to become goal focused while they are doing the job. So to some extent, they'll also be happy with working for a company, at the same time getting paid, and all of that is sorted out. But at times this doesn't happen automatically, and there are few cons that I'm going to tell you about, which is something maybe surprising and new. Sometimes job is not scalable unless you probably become part of that entrepreneurship team or the incorporation team. So you might become a MD of the company, managing director of the company, or CEO of the company. That doesn't mean you are the owner or the founder. That doesn't mean you are equally liable as a legal partner. So this is all about legal matters then. As in when the paperwork happens, you will not be part of that closed loop paperwork, right? That is why the job cannot be very, very scalable. It is scalable to some extent. I can agree too much on that, but then at some point of time, it is not further scalable. It will have its own lifetime. Requires a lot of consistency. That means 9 o'clock in the morning, you get up, 5 o'clock. You don't have excuses to make. Whereas in business, you can to some extent manage time, but then the other way around of looking at this is that even if you manage time, you might end up adding more number of hours. Whereas in job, you will be able to fix to one specific time, 9 to 5. So that's why you see people complaining about 9 to 5 job, because it has some rules and regulations or stipulated timelines that to be followed that require you to be more and more consistent all the time with respect to performance. Also, if somebody is performing better than you, you are already becoming liable to, or you are already becoming susceptible to lose this job or probably find a new position, because competition is increasing, which is not going to happen if you are in entrepreneurship. But it is going to be long term. You have to be very confident and very long term if you are going to do the entrepreneurship. No royalty in most cases. This is a very highlight point from my end, because let us say if you are in government job also, you have pension right now, but today things are changing. In government jobs or private jobs, royalties are being limited as well now. So earlier people used to get pension after they complete of their jobs at government offices, or if they are in private, they used to get other benefits. But as the market is becoming competitive and it's shrinking, royalty in terms of business, now let's say tomorrow you have an investor coming in, you are actually banking upon your royalty and drawing salaries out of it, which is a case of an entrepreneurship. When you are at the job, you are not being exposed to or not being benefited out of these royalties in most cases. So that's why you need to understand how fine you are with doing job. That doesn't mean you don't have to do job. This is the first thing that you have to do. After which, look out for one of the most important thing I have to come back again to is about ethics. So let us say you are doing a job at a company where you also have a fond, idea of starting a startup or doing a freelance. Don't get into competitive market with them. First, resign that job. If it's a competitive market, then do something about it. But don't try to compete or try to copy what they are doing and try to do your own stuff while you are doing the job. That's where our role of teaching you ethics comes into picture. So make sure you are ethical. So you can probably continue with your job if your line of passion and everything is colliding, but you're still not happy with the job. Then take your time, take retirement out of job, or you just take the exit out of the job. Then venture into your own company. From experiences of your learning, you can go forward, and that's where you will be able to safeguard your ethics, and which is very, very important in any business and any professional career. You can go to the next slide. Now, entrepreneurship, one of the lovely topic, although it's probably sometimes taboo. If you see across the world, people talking about entrepreneurship sounds very fancy in only news and in on funding papers and profitability when it reaches for the company. But ideally, if you talk about this as a journey, if you put happiness index to it, it is always a very nice or a lovely journey to have, because you will set your happiness goals. You don't set your success goal with respect to monetary funds that you have in the bank account, or with respect to how many people you are associated with, how many newspapers have you been published with the article and all of that. You have to understand entrepreneurship means it's your self dream. You're not going to be bothered about what people are going to award you or what people are going to get you by. Whatever you are going to do, you have to do it on your own. And even if people are falling short or moving out of your team or whatever is happening, you try to pull up that team forward and get into the situation, or you yourself jump into the pool, start working on it, improve it. And this is how entrepreneurship different from the job and other aspects of the career. Now there are some very good things, easily scalable, impact bound. That means it's not just about money here. In entrepreneurship, true entrepreneur knows what value creation means, what ethics means to the business, how a stakeholder relationship network works. If you talk about this, I will want to take two big example names here. There'll always be stories across people in the news and all of that, but then I have to talk about Sachin Bansal, the Flipkart's ex-founder, right? Has started Cultfit. A lot of people don't know he's the one who has started Cultfit. But then you see, based on the previous experience, based on the ethics of the network that they have built and all of that, they have been able to fast track the next journey, which is Cultfit, and been able to acquire more market cap or the more acquisition in shorter time than what they have done for Flipkart. All this because of the ethics that they have followed consistently and built that or supported that network they've had. Now, if you look at Cultfit as a company, I must know a lot of people have that perception of the class or the quality from the first look of the feel of the brand. So that is what I'm talking about here. You have to be understanding that entrepreneurship is something very long term. It cannot just be just one startup or one thing at a time, but then you'll have to see whatever you're doing, you have to have a long term impact onto ecosystem. And then there are few cons. Obviously, everything has a good and bad to it. Survival is tough. So first 3 years, I would say, I've been suggesting people from my 30 startup experiences that I've, we have collaboratively trained. We have been telling them that it is tough to survive for the first 3 years. So concentrate only on survival, not on raising funds and getting to acquire the entire market for the first 3 years. That can happen later. Survive first. Make sure you make a lot of money from the customer, paying happy customers. And then you think about funding and other aspects which are to do with valuation. That's going to look into long term. But first 3 years, you just have to think that this is not going to work and get into it. Obviously, it will work, but then you'll have to make that mindset to make yourself confident and more like a life coach kind of person. And flexibility index is very high. So you see that you have to be very, very flexible. That is a con here. If you are not flexible person, if you are not emotionally driven, or if you are somebody who are likely to get too attached to your company or to your people across, until unless, as in this is suggested, you have to make that professional work-life balance kind of a red line drawn between your entrepreneurship as well. Like you do it in your job, same way you have to be very comfortable setting up timelines for your family, for your personal goals, because trust me, none of the successful people will be able to be successful if they don't have their personal people to look up to or take inspiration from. You don't have everything done from the career or experience. You have to look from the examples of nature, examples of relationships that you have had, examples of people that you have been connected with. So that's why flexibility is very, very important. If that is not there with you, or somebody who is doing entrepreneurship, they should understand this is a con probably in the entrepreneurship side. Requires lots and lots of patience. So this is what we have been able to see through with multiple cases, that whatever happens, you will have a way out for that. Immediately, it might not occur to you when you are in a situation like this. A lot of entrepreneurs would have seen, this situation hitting them right in face, and they would have felt very bad, including us as well. But then that doesn't mean we are going to stop. That doesn't mean we are going to stop. We will stay with patience, that so that our mind get enlightened up with new ideas. We work on those new ideas, take flexibility as a boat or the driver, and shape up our career as well as the venture that we are into. And likewise, we want to impact in long term, again, as our belief has been very strong with positivity and long term, and we are going to do that. And that is where I would suggest you, if you are going to do entrepreneurship, have lots and lots of patience. Try to think that this is your dream, and even if you have a team, everybody has to think as a team, but everybody individually has to think that this is also my dream. I need to put in time and efforts to make it happen. I think I was not too fast, but we are now probably ready and in for the questions.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
Pooja.
That was the end of the slide. So we can start with the questions if you have any.
There was a lag probably in the middle, I guess, but hopefully people are going to tell us about whether they've been able to follow us or not yet.
So if anybody has any follow-up questions on whatever Swagata and Shaba said, we can ask those questions. We have about 15 minutes for people to ask questions about anything, about Swagata, about Shaba, why did they start, or what has been their toughest challenge, or any of that, or anything related to your career. Please feel free to ask that question. You can raise your hand or you can write your question in the chat box. Okay, perfect. So till then, I have a few questions which maybe we can take, and if it helps others. How important do you think a degree is right now? Because I think we're all torn between if we should spend more time or spend more money and get a degree, or should we just jump into a startup idea that we have?
Yes, so Swagata, would you want to take this question forward, or should you want me to take it forward?
All right, I can start with it. So since you've mentioned degree, I joined IIM Lucknow just a few months back. So suggesting degree, I think degree is something which is your personal preference. If you have an idea of increasing your academic and you're making it strong, then it's not something that just because of the scenario is not looking good now, and since the future is bleak, let's not do a degree. That's not a solution to things. But then, yeah, it would also mean that if you want to have a side and a backup plan, it's always important to have a backup plan. So perhaps while,
yeah, so I would like to add one more thing is for the personal experience. This is a very nice question, Pooja, that you have put across. Is that I'm basically an energy and environment engineer. So if you would ask me about what I've done with my degree, you would be clueless when you look at Foito's profile. We are basically an industry training platform. But now how we've been able to map up each of our degrees back into our own venture is where you will get to understand how degrees are very important. So now, as of today, we are having clients where we do environment workshops, which are core directly into solar, composting, and all of that, which I've learned in my engineering degree. But a combination of that, we are teaching them how to do environment specific startups. So I think you are able to map up now of what importance degree plays when you are able to map it back to where you are today. So degree is very important, even if you have taken a wrong decision because it's an accident, right? Everything is all about accident. Even if some people have taken a wrong degree or they feel that they are not in a right place, don't worry about that now. Worry is something that you need not really bother about. Think about what is your skills and strengths are right now. Start with that, venture in. Later, you will find a lot of opportunities. I'm very frank. I've got customers who are looking for getting entrepreneurship training in the environment side. And we've been able to serve them with 200% more value because of the fact that our own team has founding degrees in place to address to. Yes, Swagata, you can continue, please.
Yeah, I think you have almost said whatever I had to. I guess we have a question from Akanksha. Hi, Akanksha. So she's asking, how has the skill assessment test helped people who have been confused about too many options and have the skills for multiple career options? So it feels good to see that people have multiple career options in their mind, because I did. So first of all, congratulations on that. But then, see, Akanksha, like I said, it's important to analyze yourself. There are going to be a few skills which are more dominant, whereas there are going to be was steps taken to move from an intern to a director.
Let's take one question each. Yeah.
I'll answer Akanksha's question and then I'll move on to the next question.
Sure.
So I was referring to Akanksha saying that it's important to identify the skill which is more dominant to your profile. And like I said, we do not base your skill report only on your strength, but we are going to find a match with your passion also. So you might have some skills which are very good, but that might not be, compatible with an area of your passion. Like I said, you have to take a job which you are good at and which you also enjoy. So that is the whole idea of squeezing out the best of your skills with the best of your passion, and then combining both to find out the career which best suits you. I hope that answers your question, Kansha. Chopper sir, would you like to say something?
Just a bit of add-on to this, as Akansha's question is about confused folks, as in we have seen a couple of people. We have seen somebody who's a content writer has come to us, and she was not really sure of how to go about in that. But in fact, this particular method of emotional intelligence have helped people understand the difference between are you a content writer or are you a marketing strategist. So we are actually going to the segment level of roles rather than just looking at skill. After we finish off with the evaluations, you will be so confident that you will know what is the difference between journalism and what is the application of content writing in journalism versus what is the application of public speaking in journalism. So these are the very important key takeaways that you'll have.
Okay, so now we can move on to the next question by Anirudh Datta. Were steps taken to move from an intern to director sequential or interchangeable? Sequential, of course. So I started my internship in March 2019, and then I planned to join as a director in March 2020. So it's a 1-year journey. It was sequential. It went across from one profile to another. So I joined as an intern for the HR department. Then gradually I implemented some ideas in the finance and the operations department. And that's how perhaps the founders were able to identify that I can or I have the ability to see through the business and I understand the business concept. And that is how the thing worked out. So yeah, naturally it was interchangeable. And then you said example, managing time wisely fits across roles. I'm sorry, I did not get that. If you could please clarify and elaborate on that point, please.
Yeah, so I think what Anirudh means is, so when you're an intern or you're a director, first of all, he wanted to understand your journey, and then the managing time. So let's say because you're also preparing for CAT, so the managing time, how did the managing time fit when you were intern, and how did managing time when you became a director? So what was the difference between these two, between the same thing, but across these two roles?
So I was a passionate intern. Okay, I was not an intern who was doing just internship for the sake of doing internship. So I don't think my role or enthusiasm has changed much from an intern to a director. Even then, I was open to all the roles and all the tasks that were given to me, and so am I right now. So I think that has been something which is a plus point in my journey. And so yeah, so when I was managing time that time and I'm managing time right now, that's how it goes. I definitely give preference to my academics first, and then I move on to everything with related to Foito. But then I have to balance both because they both are equally important to me. I hope that answers your question.
Anirudh, if it answers your question, you can raise your hand, or let's thank Swagata for that. Oh, yes. So Anirudh says it does answer the question. So if anybody else has more questions, you can post it now, or let's say if you're too overwhelmed with all the information that you got, you can always come back and ask us those questions, and we'll get Team Foito to reply for you. So one other thing that I wanted to understand was, what do you think is the future? Let's say just working from home. So what are a few tips or a few avenues that you would suggest for people who want to just work from home and not have, let's say, I do not want to work in a company, but I want to work from home. So what are the few options that you can give to people?
Yeah, so Swagata, would you mind if I answer this?
Please go ahead.
Yes, yes. So as you have seen in the presentation that we were showing, we have kept freelance as first. The reason being that some people don't really have need of to be very financially stable at times. So for those people, work from home is like a gem. As in you can, if you are a photographer, for example, you have camera and you have everything that is in place. All that you need to do is talk to people to get the projects. What would stop you from doing that? And we have got LinkedIn, we have got n number of new technologies and apps coming that will help you connect with people much easily. So if you are somebody who's financially stable and able to manage through about 1 year time on your own, then I think freelancing is a best option right now. You will get a hands-on experience, you will get the dirt of the market, then you will be ready to see if you want to convert that into entrepreneurship. And luckily no government or no country have any of a law where you cannot convert from a freelancer to an entrepreneur. All that you need to have is bigger vision, scaling up thoughts, and then all of that. As in, the dream is becoming bigger now. You were only working as a skill set based, and now you'll be working on the impact level, and that's how easy it is. So it's very good. Look, though all the smiling faces that I am showing here might sound like everything is easy, that's not, and it is never. Even at the job, who has smiling faces all the time, obviously, but that you have to take that choice of yours, as in you evaluate. If you are not ready financially, then take a time. The world is not ending. Nothing is going to happen to us, and we are all safe and sound. So don't worry about hurrying up into anything. Just take your time. Let just go with the flow, and you will find accidents, multiple accidents, like wonderful accidents that will lead you to a more precision level career that you're checking. But remember to understand what your strengths are. You cannot go to football coach and tell I can coach people better because I've been playing football since 10 years. This is like you telling coach. But what you have to understand is how many other friends of yours went to the coach and told, why don't you hire Shabbari is a good football player. Why don't you hire Swagata? She is a good football player, right? That's what is more important. You might know your profile better. That might be an illusion. So that is where Foito comes into picture as a third party, as somebody from the outer perspective telling you what you're good at and giving that space and time for you to understand and validate whether we have done a good job in evaluating you. And surprisingly, fate has been a very, what to say, favorable to us. We have been able to profile people. They have been able to come back to us and tell, you are too good with this, and we are very happy. And emotions, we are not a life coach, by the way. We don't want to define ourselves like that. We could have done that, but then you get the idea, no? As far as you are having that emotional intelligence factors in place, and if you are able to have a strong belief in what you're doing, there's nobody else stopping you. Set your results as few, like we talked about celebrations, right? Whatever you're doing small, today you made a resume for a client, celebrate it inside more than the outside. Social media is there, obviously you'll have to put it out there, but then feel confident about what you've done to the particular profile. Later you will be able to see that tangible effects or the outcomes will come and start to cloud up soon.
Sorry. Yeah, so I think we are done with all the points that were supposed to be covered. Thank you so much, Swagata. Thank you so much, Shabar, for doing this. And I'm sure everybody is going back with something new and a lot more information that they had come with. So if you're going back, even with a little bit more, Abdullah raised his hand. Abdullah, yeah. So if you're going back with a little bit more information, feel free to give a shout out to Foito, feel free to give a shout out to Glow. Both the companies are on LinkedIn, both the companies are on Instagram. We are probably on all the platforms.
Feel free to give us a shout out. There are some participants raising hands.
So. I think they're all saying bye and thank you. So that's the way of saying thank you. I mean, we would have loved if everybody could switch on their cameras, but then I understand all of us are camera shy. But so thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Foito. Thank you, team. Thank you, Mahasweta, for arranging this. Oh, wait, Abdullah has a question. Okay, let's quickly take this and we can wrap it up.
Abdullah asks, for a fresher like me who has just stepped into this digital marketing field, is it recommended to jump into freelancing right away, considering the time it takes to stand among them? or I had rather invest more time in developing my skills. And okay, should I take this up or Chapar sir? So Abdullah, you are, I can pretty much, associate myself with you, because when I took up the internship, even I was a fresher, in fact, not even a complete graduate. So you can always go for internships. I think these internships can help you, get some projects and get hands-on experience. And once you do that, you'll feel a lot more confident to start your own freelancing if you want to do that. So since you said that you are new to this field, it's important that you explore the dynamics of the field, because digital marketing is something which is a very dominant skill right now. And there are a lot of aspects. And Shabbar sir himself is someone who's good at digital marketing. So I think he'll be able to give you a better idea and glimpse of this market. So you can take up a lot of freelance projects, but before that, like I said, you can go for internships. These internships are much more helpful. They can help you get an idea of what kind of skills are needed, what level you are in, and they can also provide you a direction of the training you might need to further expand your skill development in this particular domain. And also, you might just find some new domain of interest if you go for internships and think of widening your profile in that direction. Shabbar sir would like to add something.
Yeah, Abdullah, I think yes, for your question, it would look like a question without, as in we have tried answering our best, but then if you still feel that you need to get a clear view, I think that's what we are suggesting. Glow Community is offering you this opportunity to take up skill evaluation with Foito. You should probably go and take that 10-15 minutes test. We will evaluate your profile and give you a better understanding of what you can do. Although we have tried to be, justify your question here, but then if you want to get the practical side of the view of this, take up a skill report and you will be able to find through of what you can do about it. Okay.
Hi, my name is Shilpa. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. Hi, Shilpa. Please go ahead.
Hi, I'm sorry because I think you're running out of time, but
please.
I wanted to know how important is an MBA degree for starting a business, especially if you're not from a business or a commerce or economics background. How important is an MBA degree for starting your business?
See, why I took up MBA, if I have to explain that, that's because I wanted to get a better idea of the business world. Okay. But an MBA degree is not important to start a business. There are a lot of entrepreneurs who have their own business. If you even look at the sole proprietors, they have got amazing marketing skills and they've got perfect business acumen, but they might not even have the basic graduation degree. So degree helps to provide you the basic academic base, which is required. All right. But on the other hand, if you talk about implementing it on the practical front, it is something which people learn intuitively through experience. So if I guess you might just have some idea, some entrepreneurial idea in your own mind. So setting that up does not require an MBA degree. Nobody is going to ask you that, Shilpa, you have your own entrepreneur, you have your own business, do you have an MBA degree? That's not a question anybody will ask, because your business acumen is yourself. You yourself, that's your idea, that's your ideation, how you implement it, how you're able to work with the team. MBA degree can just be an add-on. It's going to be a badge. It's going to be a learning experience from a different perspective. But then it is not a necessity for any entrepreneur to start a business, not at all. Shabbar sir would like to add something.
You can pursue MBA. While you're pursuing your MBA, you can do business. So there's no link between starting an MBA, doing an MBA and starting a business, as Swagata has just suggested. So if you think managing time is a problem, then you avoid that step. If you think you are flexible enough to manage, because we all know of how much academics needed us to be there, getting, for me, I've been a 60% or 70% whole my life. So I wanted to build my practical skill. Then even from education, let's say you're doing MBA, do it for understanding what industry is moving like. Don't do it for degree purpose. While you're doing it, you will have some idea already. You can get into venturing into the startup. You have 2 years where you are building some network, because colleges give you a lot of options. Okay, this is where MBA is very important. You get an option to talk about your idea to people free of cost, where people are going to listen to you. College is a place. carnivals. Okay, there's so many fests that are happening where you will play a role. If you are, let's say, into logistics business, you will be able to directly supply to your own college. If you are an MBA, they wouldn't mind taking from the guy who's already studying and running a business at the same time, right? So you have to understand there's no relation between having an MBA degree and starting a business, but obviously degree will definitely make an add-on, and how you make use of that degree is very important.
Does anybody else have a question, or can we please let Swagata and Shabar go and have their evening tea? I think we're done with all the questions. And if anybody has any questions, first of all, I've linked the skill evaluation form to the chat, and I've shared screenshots. So it would be great if you guys can share it on your social media handles. We want people to know about Foito. We want people to know about Glow.community, because Foito is doing a great job in letting people understand what their skills are, and Glow is working towards bringing women together. So if you can share it on your social media, it will be great. You can tag us at Glow.community, GLO.COMMUNITY, and Foito is at FOITO. So if you can tag us, it will be great. And I hope you guys had a good time. I hope you're going back with more knowledge than you came in with. Thank you, Team Foito. Thank you, Mahasweta, again for organizing the whole thing. And thank you guys for attending. We will see you in the next session. Yeah. See you guys. Bye.
We are very thankful for Glow community to host us as well. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.